Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland Transfer Deadline Day Special Part 1. I'm Gimli, and today I'll be joined by, first up, Mr. Welsh Justice himself, Jason Davies. Hello, Jason.
Hi, Paul, you right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. What kind of mood you in today? You in a good mood?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Next up, it's Mark King. Hello, Mark. I can't hear him. He's waving. But I shall move on. And next up, it's Tom. Hello, Tom.
All right, pal, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
Meh.
Ugh, I can see you're a jovial bunch. And finally, it's Budget Jesus himself. Hello, Kris.
All right, Gimster.
Yes. So we're all here today, gathered roughly 6 minutes past 12. To see out the transfer window. We will be doing these every hour, and we've got new guests every hour, so it's going to be a little bit of fun. I understand that most of you are probably quite angry. I know that some of you are hopeful, some of you aren't hopeful at all, but we're going to discuss everything as it happens. If there's a chance of anything happening, we're going to discuss it on here. We're also going to talk about other clubs and what they're doing. And also Arsenal if they don't strengthen in this window. So, Mark, we'll go to you first then. And what have you made of the window so far? Is Petr Cech the only signing that Arsenal has made this summer good enough to see us be competitive this year? I can't hear him. Okay, I will chuck that question to someone else. Tom?
What is Petr Cech the only summer signing we're going to see? Well, probably, yeah, it's looking like. I mean, I can't see anyone else coming in, to be honest. Is it good enough? No, it's not good enough at all, to be honest. I really think we're one injury away from an absolute disaster, to be honest. So, if I think anyone's going to come in, I think it's going to be in the forward position, which in my opinion isn't the priority for me. It has to be cover, because if Coquelin gets injured, we can't rely on Arteta to cover for us, and it's going to end up being a bit of a disaster at the start of the season last year with what happened with injuries, and we didn't have enough cover to subsidise the spaces that we lost.
Now, Jason, I'll move on to you next. I was quite vocal with my tweets yesterday because, to be honest with you, whether it's a combination of anger and frustration, I don't know. But a lot of people are saying as well that Arsene Wenger is undefendable if he doesn't go out and sign anyone in this window, or anyone else, should I say, because we can't forget that he signed Petr Cech. You're a fan of the big man, as I'm sure we all are. But can you defend him if he doesn't go out and spend?
Oh, look, it's as with anything else, okay? I don't know what happens in the club, and neither do many other people, okay? Unless you're there in the office while all these things are happening, you do not know what the actual truth is. I hear plenty of people telling me this happening and that happening. You know, I got told Royce was a done deal to fucking Real Madrid. Well, what a bag of bollocks that turned out to be. Everybody keeps on thinking they're experts, but even if you know somebody inside the club, you're getting Chinese whispers back. We don't actually know what's happening. But on the flip side of that, unfortunately, this is the same old story. Okay? If, as a club, we are only after super quality players, then we're missing out on a trick. Because when you build up the quality of the squad, you don't just improve at the high end, you improve at the low end as well. You bring up the base level, okay? And that's what we're not doing. Now, you know, don't tell me Flamini and Arteta and Rosicky are good enough for a Premier League winning season. That's a laugh. Okay, they can do a job for a couple of games, maybe 5 or 6, but, you know, they're of an age now, right? Coquelin, last season when Coquelin came into the team, he picked up a load of yellow cards earlier on, and then he calmed down, and a bit like a fast bowler, maybe gets his line and length, and then, you know, improved in his disciplinary record. But again, if he goes down, as Tom said, you know, I wouldn't trust Mickey Arteta over a 5 to 7 game period. It's not going to happen. And neither with Flamini, and I love those two players. You know, we started off great last season with Sanchez. We added a few good players at Debussy, Chambers, etc. But this year, Czech, a great start to the transfer window. The two young French lads, fantastic for the future. But we need players for now. And at this present time, I'm not even angry anymore. You know, it's the same old story as last year. I'm not angry, but I'm just disappointed and disillusioned because we're not giving ourselves the best chance to challenge for the title. We're not giving ourselves the best chance to challenge in Europe. We're not giving ourselves the best chance to really go forward and push this club to being a super club. You know, we got Bayern Munich in the European group stages. You know, you look at them; they can pull people off the bench who are top quality. You know, our bench decidedly looks okay, not great, not average, not great, and it's the same old story every year. You know, in fact, for me, as I said in the group last night, this is the worst transfer window since we brought Arteta in, and it's on a par with George Graham buying players for his own pocket. It's that bad. It's that bad. Unless we bring somebody in, it's shameful, to be honest.
Yes, no, I agree. Mark, have we got your sound back?
I hope so.
Fantastic, you're there.
Yeah.
So I found my next question at you then. Jace touched on, and so did Tom, the fact that if Coquelin goes down with an injury, and by watching the Newcastle game, you could see any of the tackles that went on at him could have been, you know, he could have sustained ligament damage. You know, it's treading a very, very fine line, and he is one of these players that, you know, he is going to get tackled. Now, is the fact that we've been so toothless in front of goal this season kind of detracted away from the fact that we need someone there to not replace Coquelin? Because I think if you ask the fan base, I think most of them would be happy with him in the team. I think most of them would actually say that he's probably the first name on the team sheet. But do you think that our lack of goals this season has distracted away from the fact that we need cover for his position?
Well, yeah, it probably did. It's a good point, but also what it did was it just highlighted the paucity of options up front. I just think the problem we've got at the moment is that we have too many options that are not the actual answer, but it gives Arsene the excuse of saying, well, with Giroud and with Sanchez and with Theo, you know, we'll be all right up front. Well, you know, I don't think we will be. I think you need a different type of centre forward. Now, Theo ideally would be it because he's got the mobility and the pace to get in behind. And I think it was a good point about the Newcastle game was no one else would have got to the rebound from Alexis's shot except Theo. But having got there, he, fucked up a fairly easy chance. So, that's the problem we've got with Theo, is that Theo will get there, but I'm not convinced he'll ever be clinical enough. But yeah, I think it has taken people's eye off the ball, but I'm not completely convinced that we were ever really looking for another DM. And we were very focused maybe on getting a centre forward, but possibly stuck all our eggs in one basket with Benzema.
Yes, it seems like that's been the ongoing one this summer. I don't think that there was as much substance to that deal as everybody made out. Kris, I know you watch a lot of Spanish football, and we've spoken about the whole Benzema deal. Surely this is something that I don't think anyone's saying that the interest was never there, because even, I'm sure Mark hears things, Tom, Jace, we all hear things connected to the club. However, I don't think that there was ever a bid. And I think that the story was dragged on by various media outlets and ITKs. What do you make of the whole deal itself?
It's hard to say, Gim. I mean, like Jay said, it's hard to know what was really going on. The one thing that does puzzle me a little bit is if Benzema really was, keen to sort of stay at Real and it was his home, etc. I'm not 100% sure why he decided to leave it for pretty much 2 months before he came out and said, "I'm happy, I'm staying." Yes, there was some broken quotes flying around that he'd already said, "I'm happy here," and Perez sees him as sort of his boy and his project, and he wanted him to stay. But the fact that he didn't come out publicly until recently would suggest to me that maybe there was some contact. I'm sure there was contact. I mean, we're pretty much told or taken for read that the club talk to people all the time. I'm sure all clubs are talking all the time, and that this is where the tapping up thing goes. I'm pretty sure that the deals we hear about are not always, they don't always happen in a day. I'm sure there'll be clubs tapping each other up constantly throughout the year. So I'm sure we did make inquiries. I'm sure that we were keen on Benzema because who wouldn't be? But I'm sure we weren't the only ones. And I suppose, like Mark said, my only concern really would be if he was the number one target. I think we've said this probably before. Do we not have backups? It's all very well saying, well, he is the one we really want, but surely we should probably have 3 or 4 backups in the back pocket. So if that doesn't go through, we can go, okay, that's not going to happen. Let's turn our attentions to someone else. But then on the flip side, and again, this is not defending the club or us in any degree, but it's just looking at it from another perspective. Maybe he was given reason to believe that it was a possible deal, and that maybe he was strung along, or the club was strung along. Which it sounds a bit bizarre to think that could happen, but I'm sure it happens in all walks of life in all different businesses. So the truth is, we don't know, but I think we were interested. I think that much is definitely true. But how far along did it go? Who knows?
And Jace, I'll come back to you now, and I'll ask the question. Now, a lot has been said of the money that we have in the bank. We've moved stadium, and we were all fed the line that when we came to the Emirates, it was going to be a little bit of a struggle at first, but then there would be money there to be able to compete with any club in Europe. So why do we find ourselves sat here on the last day of the transfer window and nobody can knock Mesut Ozil or Alexis Sanchez or even Petr Cech, even though you could argue Petr Cech was pretty much served on a plate to us? But my main question is, why are we sat here with money in the bank this late in the day?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. You know what I mean, Mark? Look, I find all this AKB, Wenger out, ITK bollocks, I find it all very wearing. I couldn't give a shit. I couldn't give a damn, okay? People are due their opinion. When it gets silly, I just switch off. I don't care. I don't run a £1 billion football club. I can't honestly tell you what happens behind the scenes. I don't think many people can honestly tell you, because even within that organisation, you get certain people specialising in certain areas and so forth, as with any business. But the one thing I don't understand, if you look at the Premier League, if you look at Europe, it's all about competition, and even within those squads, it's about competition. It's about raising the bar, okay? And just to bring in Petr Cech, and not to strengthen other areas of the team, I find bizarre. I keep on hearing, "Oh, Santi's first name on the team sheet. What a bag of bollocks." Coughlin's first name on the team sheet, but what a bag of bollocks. Alexis Sanchez, first name on the team sheet. Undroppable, these people are called. It's a load of crap. You buy in better players, you leave them compete. And whoever is playing best gets the spot. If you buy in a DM with a better passing range and is a bit quicker and a bit more mobile than Coughlin and plays better than him, then Coughlin's on the bench, or they can play together. Who knows? But you have to reinvest and refresh the squad. You have to do it, because otherwise it gets stale. Look at Oli Giroud. Last season he came back from injury. He's chucking himself about. He's been a real handful for defenders, and he gets goals galore when he comes back. Then he becomes complacent again, and it looks like he started the season like that. Theo's got his brand new contract. Oh, he's happy again. He's not as brave as he was last couple of games of last season. talk about overrated. And I think these players have got the talent. I think they have got all the attributes to become great. But, all of a sudden, Ox has become the second coming of Jesus. Well, his passing ain't good enough, and all too often he plays head-down football instead of heads-up football. You need to bring fresh players in to knock the status quo and to incite some competitiveness in this squad. And we're just not doing it. Now, for all the excuses the club can give us, or the quality of players not out there, well, if you're only looking at 2% of the players in Europe and South America, all over the world, you're still looking at a hell of a lot of players. So there should be people out there to come in who can compete and actually make a difference within that squad. As to why this has happened, I can't tell you. There may be some very genuine reasons, but at the moment they don't make sense to me.
No. And if we're talking about playing the blame game, Tom, I'll come to you. If we do fail to sign anyone this window, where does the blame go to you?
Oh, I'm not sure you can put a blame specifically on one person in the club, because at the end of the day, Wenger's come out and said he's got a big team of people behind him to deal with transfers, and he's the portrait of those people. He's the one who gets all the flack because he's the manager, and some might say that's fair enough. But for me, I think, and it is only my opinion, and I can only say what I'm thinking, because at the end of the day, I know just as much as a Venezuelan with big tits out there. So for me, it's going to be that he's set aside a list of targets of what he wants, and if they're not available, he's not going to compromise. That's not the type of person he is. He's not going to bring the next level down, because at the end of the day, people have moaned at him for years for bringing in second-grade players, and they're not working out, or some of them have worked out, and he's been moaned at for doing that. So now he's changed his ways, and he's brought in the likes of Ozil and Alexis and Cech, who are all top class players, and he's still going to get moaned at if he doesn't bring someone in. But for me, the players that he wanted haven't been available. They haven't been available to us. You're not going to bring in someone like, people have used the example of Pedro, for example. We should have brought Pedro in. Well, for me, Pedro doesn't come in and take Oxlade-Chamberlain's place. He's playing very well for Chelsea at the moment, but he could have come into a different team like ours and played completely different. I mean...
Hold up, Tom, sorry. Pedro is a World Cup winning player. Oxlade-Chamberlain's hardly started for the Arsenal.
So he gets loads of flack for...
come on. Don't give me the Pedro doesn't start ahead of Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now we're making excuses because that's rubbish. Sorry, mate. But, Pedro is a World Cup winner. He's won the Champions League. Right? He's won a damn sight more than the Arsenal have in the last 10 years.
Yeah, but that's because he plays for Barcelona.
I think you've also got to say as well, I've heard from my rants on Twitter yesterday, a lot of people have come out and said that these players just simply aren't available. The players to strengthen Arsenal simply aren't available. And my argument with that being, with our team of scouts, with our scouting network, who, we've got scouts in every corner of the globe, are you telling me that it's difficult to find someone that could come in and strengthen our team? And my main argument would be, you're not maybe looking at someone that's going to come in the first team, but surely if you sign someone that's better than Arteta and Flamini, then you've strengthened your team overall, because the backup is there. Now, Mark, what do you say to those people that say that these players aren't available?
I'd say to them, you look at Stoke. Yeah. Now, Bojan, Shaqiri, Afellay, I'm not suggesting that these are the players that are at the level that we should be looking at. But what I am saying is that in world football now, there is no league with more money than the Premier League, and this is only going to get worse from next year. Yeah, we can pay huge wages in the Premier League and attract talent from anywhere. You're not trying to tell me that Stoke brought those players to the city and showed them round and showed them their immense history and their lovely style of playing football, and they were like, yeah, this is the move for me. They've gone there because they're going to get paid shitloads of money, and all three players maybe had issues that they were getting over for whatever reason, but they've still ended up there. So people need to remember that we're talking about the Arsenal. This is we have so much going for us as a club, and can offer players so much. Yet, as you said, in all of world football, we cannot find a DM that can come to the club and cover Coquelin. And I'm talking about, if I had the opportunity, I love Coquelin, but I would buy a better version than Coquelin and have Coquelin be the cover or the competition or the second DM in certain games. But we could not find somebody who could come in and provide better cover than Arteta. And everyone knows my views on Arteta. And Flamini as well, who hopefully, well, he can't go now. It's a bit of a shame he didn't get rid last night, but there you go. That were better covered than those two. And the similar thing, I mean, you say Arsene Wenger doesn't compromise. Well, he compromised when he bought Welbeck, because Welbeck wasn't on his list of players and only came available to Arsenal on virtually deadline day last season. And he's taken a punt on Welbeck, and 16 million quid, has he been a roaring success? I'd say the jury's still out. He's been injured a lot. Where the hell is he at the moment? So he does take chances, and he can compromise, but it doesn't appear, I know we've got a few hours left, but it doesn't appear that we're doing anything at the moment to improve the squad. And I've seen this argument about, our best 11 can compete. Yeah, our best 11 can compete, but when do we ever keep our best 11 playing consistently enough to do that? And you need to be able to rest them. You know, they're not going to last the whole season playing in 3 competitions. If we ignore the League Cup, you're playing in 3 competitions. It's just not going to manage it. They're not the sort of players. Look, you know, Shad hasn't come in and waved the magic wand and now there's no more injuries forevermore. It's just ridiculous. So and when you talk about blame, the man in charge is Arsene Wenger. He selects the players that he wants the club to go out and buy, and then they should go off and do that business. And if there is no business done, then I'm sorry, I would hold him accountable, because he is not giving them a list of players comprehensive enough to find a solution to a problem. And if he thinks that just doing nothing and going with the squad he's got for the next four months is the right answer, I just think that's wrong.
No, I agree with you. Kris, would you like to follow up on that? I mean, there's been a lot of players moved this summer that I think personally could have done a job for our club. We talked on podcasts, I remember, about Vidal. He could have done a job. I mean, we're not talking like the money isn't there, that we can't go out and offer these players big contracts. I know it doesn't fit in with the wage structure, which is what people will argue, but you've got to look. I think, is it next year when the TV money comes in, even the team that finishes 20th in the league will still get something like £200 million? I mean, so surely you've got to look at that and you've got to say the competition for these players next year will be even greater. You've got people like your West Broms that can go in and take their, the type of player that they're looking for to the next level. You know, we are going to find it even more difficult to strengthen our teams in the way which we'd like. Have we missed a massive trick by not doing any business or any proper business so far?
It's a hell of a loaded question. I mean, yeah, we probably have. I mean, I'm kind of in the camp that I'm not going to be throwing things at the telly if we don't bring anyone in. I'm a little bit more, I just feel like I'm more kind of accepting of the fact. And I know that, some people will immediately jump on that, go, you're the fucking problem with this club. Well, I'm not at all. I just support the club that I've got and the players we've got, and that's what I'll always do. And if we bring in some more players, then that's great. But have we missed out on some? Yeah, we probably have. But are there reasons behind it? Yeah, there probably are. As Jay said, I don't think we'll ever really know the reasons why. I mean, the one you mentioned there, Vidal. I mean, I was on record, and I'll say again, I would have loved him in our midfield. And then you get these pillocks that come out and go, well, he's a bit rash. He gets sent off in the Premier League. Oh yeah, of course he would, because we really know that without seeing him play.
Also, these people that went, all of that business with him speeding or whatever it was over in Chile. Arsene Wenger looked at that and he went, no, I'm not going to touch him.
Of course, but boys, but he fucking didn't, did he? You're talking through your arse, lads. The guy's fighting before fighting in a nightclub before a Juventus-Roma game. Of course Arsene Wenger's not going to go and spend 28 million quid on a clown who's fighting in a nightclub.
But he's fucking world class, Jason.
That doesn't matter. Boys, did we buy him? Did we buy him? Did we buy him?
No, we didn't.
We've got a striker who
fucking
cheated
wrong,
on his
innit?
wife in a public
Fucking
affair.
wrong, boys.
But you've got to ask the question, why, Jason? Why didn't we buy him? It's fucking incompetent.
How is that?
And it's inexcusable.
Of course it's something to do with it. It's about professionalism. Look at what he's doing, okay? Arsene Wenger doesn't want some big-time Charlie coming into the club, okay?
So why did Bayern Munich take the punt on him then? Because Bayern Munich aren't any mugs.
Ask Pep Guardiola. Ask Pep Guardiola.
But he must be mucky as well then, Jace, because obviously if Arsene Wenger didn't want him, then there must have been something wrong with him, but he still walked into a top club, didn't he?
Hey,
it's fucking inexcusable.
You look at Arsene Wenger's character, okay, and look at that's how you got to look at it, boys. It's just the way it is. I told you he wouldn't come to us. He didn't come to us. It's as simple as that. And you can moan and wank about it all you want, but he's there. Should we? Other teams have managed to strengthen, okay? We should strengthen as well, okay? But stop pissing and moaning about stuff that's gone. We've got to look at where could we have really made a difference. You buy a Lars Bender, that's a guy who comes in and improves your squad.
You can't buy Lars Bender, Jace. You can't buy Lars Bender because the guy is the captain of Leverkusen and he doesn't want to leave. You can't buy a player that doesn't want to leave.
Chuck 40 away. Apparently, Kevin De Bruyne wasn't leaving Wolfsburg.
That was bollocks. He was always going to go. If the money was right, because Wolfsburg were quite happy to take that money. And Wolfsburg are rich.
Yes, so would Leverkusen then. You can't contradict your own argument in the same sentence. If you've got the money, if you want to go out and if you badly want these players, you go out and get them. You know?
What Chelsea doing with John Stones then? You look at John Stones. Everton don't want to sell him. They're being offered near £40 million for a 20-year-old centre-back, and they don't want to sell. And Roberto Martinez came out the other day and said this is no longer the age of football where the smaller clubs can just clip their toes for the bigger clubs.
But that's because they got the Premier League money coming in next season. They don't have to, okay? Hey, there are other clubs out there. There are other players out there. Right? We've missed a massive trick this season, this off-season, boys. We've missed a massive trick. You know, don't tell me Pedro doesn't get in ahead of Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's part of he was. Oh, for fuck's sake!
I don't, James.
Yeah, all those Champions League medals.
Well, there was a queue of clubs signing up for him, wasn't there too?
He didn't contribute to any of that. Then, obviously, what's Oxlade-Chamberlain?
Of course he did.
Then
he's
got a couple of England caps. Boys, he can't even get in ahead of Ramsey half the time. So Pedro's not going to take his place. Somebody's having a draft here.
But you can't talk
Somebody's
about
having an absolute draft.
If you talk about Champions League medals, you say there's that stat. Okay, Stoke have the most Champions League winners than any other team in the league. That doesn't mean they're going to win. They had Arnautovic, who got a Champions League medal by default.
You were talking about you made the comparison of Pedro doesn't get in ahead of Oxlade-Chamberlain. Yeah. Well, Oxlade-Chamberlain doesn't start most of the time anyway, so he doesn't make the bench. Stop talking crap to me, boys.
Okay. Let's put it another way, right? I'm not saying that on ability alone is Pedro a better footballer than Oxlade-Chamberlain. Yes, 100%. But under Arsene Wenger and under Arsenal, Pedro does not get in ahead of Oxlade-Chamberlain. End of story. Because that's how Arsene Wenger
But
sees
he hasn't bought him. He's not going to get it. But don't be funny, boys. You're closed yourselves off. Every time you say a player cannot get in our squad or is not fit to get in our first 11, you do not know that.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in Arsene Wenger's world or in Arsene Wenger's mind, whether you think he's right or wrong, he wouldn't bring in. Same with what Mark's saying there about, he would bring in a better Coquelin. Whether you agree with that argument or not, and I'm not saying Mark's right or wrong. I think there's perfectly good argument to say he's absolutely right to bring in an upgrade on Coquelin. But in Arsene Wenger's mind, he won't do that. He's already said, I put my faith in Coquelin. He's proven me that he can do the job. So I'm not going to bring in a player who is going to, not compete. That's different. But he's not going to bring in a player who's going to take his place.
But somebody in that boardroom needs to speak to Arsene Wenger and said, you put your faith in Gail Clichy. You put your faith in Danielson. Okay, and look where that fucking got us.
Yeah, but there's many other managers that have done that, and they don't all come out smelling the roses, do they?
I've got no problem with Arsene Wenger making mistakes. It happens. He's a human being, the same as we are. But we've gone out. We start off. We buy Peter Cech, and then we've done nothing. We've done fuck all. Okay, and that That's incompetent.
It doesn't mean, yeah, but that's a statement in itself, because you don't know we haven't done anything. It's just that we
How
haven't
many
brought
players have
anyone.
we signed since
No, that's
January?
what I'm saying. We haven't brought anyone in. That doesn't mean we've done nothing.
So what you're saying is then that our negotiating team are ineffective at their jobs.
No. What I'm saying is that we could be in for clubs or in for players that clubs have turned down bids, or that we've not got the players that we've gone after. It doesn't mean we're doing nothing.
So we haven't done our homework properly and gone up and got.
No, that's not the case, Jason. If a player doesn't want to sign for Arsenal because he wants to go somewhere else, there is nothing Arsenal can do about that. Nothing. And if a club doesn't want to accept our bid because they know that another club is going to bid, or because they'd rather sell to a different club, there is nothing Arsenal can do about that. That's just a fact.
You can offer more money. You can.
Well, what's the point? All right, so you become Man United and you pay £36 million for an unproven 19-year-old.
Guess what? Okay,
we can't afford to do that.
Of course we can. We got the new Premier League money coming in next year. You've got to understand. Okay, the face of football has changed, and this club has to change with it. You know, this club has to change with the changing face of football. And if you don't, what's going to happen? We're going to fall behind. And this season, we started well, and then we've lagged behind again. You tell me, do any of you honestly believe we're going to win the title this season?
I think we'll compete, yeah.
I think if you'd asked me that question a month ago, I would have said yeah. But now, since everyone else has strengthened, I don't think we will compete as well as we would have done a month ago. But since Chelsea have brought in more backup, and it is backup, it's not. That's what it is, and they now have more squad depth, and that's what will win titles. People have been saying we need to score goals, but I'm sorry, but strength and depth and defence is what wins you titles. It's not. Yeah. It's not about bringing in a 30-goal season striker. That'll win you games, but I'm sorry, but defences and strength and depth is what is going to win you a title, and that's why the other teams can compete much better now than they would have done a month ago.
This is the point. There are players out there who can compete with Coquelin, who are better than Coquelin. Okay?
I don't disagree.
And this is the thing, and goals do win you games, and winning games wins you Premier Leagues, right? So you've got to have a look out there and be more effective, because if we can't find a player out there who can strengthen up front and at the back, then our scouting network is either ineffective, or a negotiating team are ineffective, or we're being so close-minded, we're switching ourselves off to everything.
Very true. I'm going to start to wrap this up then, boys, because we were only supposed to do maximum of half an hour, and we've gone on for a little bit longer than that. But I will finish by asking you the question, as I do every other transfer deadline day. Who do you think is going to come in, or who would you like to see come in? Jace?
I don't think anybody's going to come in, and it really saddens me. I feel really disillusioned at the moment. I'd like anybody. I'd like somebody to compete with Coquelin, and somebody up front. If it's a Cavani, if it's a Higuain, I don't care. I don't give a monkeys. We get too many people sneering at players, when actually Arsene Wenger normally improves a player. But at the moment, who knows?
Okay. Thank you very much. Mark?
I don't see anyone else coming in. I think it's a bad decision. I think Arsene Wenger has to take responsibility for that. I'm not going to sit here and name names, because Arsenal should have been doing that business, so it's too late now to even bother about it. Pissed off.
Yeah,
same old story, innit? Same old story, Mark.
It is the same old story, and I mean, it was really interesting listening to the guys going at each other there. I mean, some good points, but you say the goal scorers don't win you titles. Well, Chelsea bought an assister and a striker, and they won the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the way you've got to look at it. Tom?
I don't think you'll see anyone coming unless other dominoes fall, but it's unlikely.
Spain's closed. No dominoes going to fall now, boys.
No, but we can still sign players from those countries. Yeah. They just can't buy any. Kris?
If we were going to go for a striker, and whatever anyone thinks of this, I'd like to see us gamble on the boy at Bournemouth, Wilson. Personally, I think he'd get him cheap, and I think he could probably be made into something that would be quite a very decent acquisition. As far as midfield goes, I wouldn't mind Motta from PSG for a season. Back up, decent experience. He's a bit of a bastard. I'd be fine with that. I'd love Krachowiak from Sevilla, but I can't see that happening. So I'd take Motta.
Fair enough. So that's us done then for the moment. We'll be back at 1 p.m. where we've got William Baker, Pally, Jonas, and Sim with us. So we'll be back in 20 minutes. Go make yourself a cup of coffee, do a little bit of housework, go and watch some bloody Sky Sports News. So that was a Bergkamp Wonderland Transfer Deadline Day Special Part 1. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back in 20 minutes. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Mark, nice